Okay, well, let's get started. Good morning. My name is Derek Major. I'm with Eligeo Business Solutions. Today's our first user group that we're doing, bi-weekly sessions that just kind of dive into specific aspects of some of the products we work with. Today we're going to talk about two products that we work with quite a bit, Zendesk Cell as well as Monday.com. Two really important and exciting products that really help a lot of our clients execute a lot of things through project management, through CRM, and collaboration, amongst other things too. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to dive a little bit into the integration side of things with Monday.com and Zendesk, creating workflows, tying CRM into Monday.com, and showing you different ways that you can utilize multiple products. There's a lot of different reasons you would want to do an integration versus trying to custom build something, say build that inside of Zendesk Cell, or attempt to at least. Finding purpose-built products that will actually work specifically for different use cases that you're working in. I always use the analogy that you don't want accountants working in the CRM. You want the accountants working in the accounting system, like an ERP. Same with salespeople. You want the salespeople to be living, breathing inside of your CRM system, tracking your deals, tracking the opportunities, contributing to the funnel, contributing to the pipeline, so that management and other key stakeholders can actually see the progress and the effectiveness of the different marketing campaigns that are going on. But on the flip side, using other tools, say like Monday.com, for effective project management, collaboration, those are all different things you can do with these multiple products. So today we're going to talk about the scenario of using Zendesk Cell as your primary CRM. So Zendesk Cell is where the salespeople live. Leads are coming into Zendesk Cell. They're using Zendesk to actually execute sales process. So they're tracking the different sales stages they're going through. They're communicating with the prospects from there. They're following up with the prospects and tracking all the activities that are happening in Zendesk. Then we're going to talk about, once you get to the final part where you actually close up the deal. So once you've actually closed the deal, moving that into the operations side of the business. So once you've sold it, like, who's going to take care of it? How can you seamlessly transition that over to the project teams or the operations teams or the delivery teams, whatever it might be called in your organization, to actually deliver the product or service that the customer's purchased? So we're going to walk through that. We'll talk about reasons you would want to use Zendesk Cell as a CRM, to use Monday.com as a CRM. You could do that as well. It depends on the size of your organization and how you're going to be using the system. But we're going to kind of go through all of that today. So we'll jump into that. Certainly send us some feedback. We would love to hear from you on any comments. We'll have some questions at the end. But really, this is really for our clients that really want to take advantage of the products that they're using through Eligeo. And we want to make sure you get the most out of it. So do you have topics you want to hear about in future user groups? Happy to do that. And we also have a number of other sessions coming up. In 2 weeks from now, we have digital signatures happening. And then we have some other sessions throughout June and in July and August that are coming up as well. So stay tuned. Visit our website, eligeo.com. And as well as, you can follow us on YouTube, as well as LinkedIn, to kind of get the latest updates. Let's jump in. So I have Zendesk Cell and I have Monday.com both open. I'm going to go end to end here so you can kind of see the whole picture of how this really works. So I'm just in Zendesk Cell right now. Let's use an example where customers come in and they've said they're interested in a product or service that we might be offering. Maybe I'm talking to them on the phone, so it's not clearly automated. So we're just going to type it in today. But let's say we'll call it Jimmy Smith is our customer today, and we'll say Jim's with Jim Electronics Corp. And we'll give him an email address as well. Jimmy at jimelectronicscorp.com. So just like any CRM, I'm not going to go too detailed into the CRM aspect, but it's always good practice to fill in as much information as you can about who the customer is. So we're just going to go electronic equipment, what status they're in, and any other information you might have. Lead called in through the phone system, or a VR, or a phone call campaign, whatever it might be. So from there, we're just going to save and view the lead. So now we've captured our lead. And I want to point out something. If you're a Zendesk Cell user today, you're going to notice right away that we have a couple things going on here that you probably don't have. That's Monday.com in the right-hand corner. So this is a layout addition that we've put into Zendesk Cell. So it's fully integrated back into Monday.com. So there's a couple configuration things. I'm going to talk about that in a couple seconds here. But essentially on leads, contacts, the company records, the deal records, you're going to be able to find this on the layout. Now, that depends how your administrator sets up Zendesk Cell and Monday.com integration, but you could put it on all of those records. Some might not put it on all of them. It depends on use cases. But for the most part, at least in this demo, we're going to have all of them so you can kind of see where it looks on here and how you might incorporate that into your process. So let's say that I'm working with Jimmy Smith here, and we want to take advantage of this Monday.com integration. So let's go through a couple examples. But before we get into the actual examples, I'm going to show you some of the configuration stuff behind the scenes. So once you've installed the app from the marketplace, from the Zendesk marketplace, you'll find that under your apps section, under integrations. So if you take a look here, Monday.com by Eligeo.com. We're going to go look at the settings. I'm going to talk about the two different modes that we can do inside of Zendesk Cell. So I've already configured this. It's already set up. But if we go through here, you'd set up the token. So you actually have to get a token from inside of Monday.com. That's available in the instructions if you want to run through that. Your subdomain, we're using our Eligeo apps account, which is where we do all of our app development. Then you get into configuration piece. It's very basic configuration, but it's pretty important. There's two modes inside of our Monday.com integration, and one of them is called sync mode, the other one's called project management mode. Sync mode is one board, multiple items. So you would actually pick a board down here and actually specify all of these items to show up inside of Zendesk. In project management mode, you can actually create one entire board for this lead. Why would you want to do that? Maybe there's a series of activities that needs to happen with this lead when we're working with them. So let me show you an example of what that looks like. So I'm going to turn off sync mode and we're going to show project management mode. It's probably easier if I just kind of walk through the example and versus trying to explain it. So we're going to refresh this right now. And what's going to happen is you're going to notice we have a board here. It's going to look for a board. It's kind of clean. It's changed up a little bit from the previous part because we were on sync mode before. But now we're in project management mode. So there's no items being created on this board, mostly because there's no board associated. So you'll notice at the top here is these three little dots, which you can configure. So I can actually go pick an existing board. There's a lot of boards on here, but I can also go create a new one. I can pick what workspace I want in it as well. So if we want to say the May 26th demo, and we go add that, it'll actually relate a board. So first of all, if we go back here, we should be able to see the board on here. Let's do a quick refresh. On Amy's here. There's our May 26th demo at the bottom here. So task 1, May 26th demo. So it's automatically created it from Zendesk Cell. So you can see task 1 is here. If I go back onto our Jimmy Smith, you can see there's task 1. So what we've done here is we've gone ahead and actually created a board specific for that lead. So there's a number of different things we can do with this, automations and whatnot, but essentially I could start going in here and start assigning things, creating out a board, using templates, whatever I want to do, but this is a test. Let's go. We can start adding some columns in here, say a status, we can add some text, we can do done, we can do working on, we can do done. Now if I come back here, and we hit refresh again, you can see now we have all these items popping up here. There's a couple cool things here. So if I'm in the sales department and I'm relying on someone using a Monday.com board, an example of that bit might be maybe I have to send out samples to a customer. So maybe there's still a lead and I want to track them with samples in here. So maybe I use Monday.com to track procurement of samples that need to go out. And maybe there's a series of steps that need to happen. So I might say identify, call customer to confirm the sample type. And I might say confirm credit card, whatever else, depends what steps. Some of this might blur between the two, but the idea is that I can now refresh this again. Now, clearly they're not going to be refreshing all this. The idea is that me as the sales rep, I can come back to this anytime and see some activity. So what I could do at this point is actually go in and say, just show me the stuff that's done. And I can refresh. It'll show me these two things have already been done. So it's like, okay, well, is there anything stuck? Let's have a look. No items found. Awesome. So we don't have anything stuck. Well, let's take a look at working on. Let's see if we have anything there. Oh, we still have to confirm the credit card. So what I could do is there's a little shortcut there I can click on. That'll take me right into Monday.com, so I can actually make some comments to the team saying, hey, just wanted to check in on this. So the idea behind this, the project management mode, is that we're using this specifically in the case of an actual board for that record. So if I was to go to any other record inside of the CRM, it'll be something different. It'd be a different board I would associate to it. So it's kind of a neat way to actually line up all the activities to make it easy for someone to go in here and be able to, see what's going on with an account. So that's project management mode. So let's move along a little bit here. Let's say Jimmy Smith here. I've talked to Jimmy, and we've gone through all our activities here, and I decided to convert him. So in the world of CRM, converting a lead, that's the process of actually qualifying them. So I've talked to Jimmy, maybe I sent him a sample, and he calls back, says, Derek, you know what? That's exactly what I need. Can you guys get me a quote for 1,000 widgets now of that same sample you sent me? Jim, no problem. So what I'm doing, I'm converting the lead. I've qualified them. I'm going to create a deal to actually track this too. So we're going to click on convert, and we're going to go look at the deal. So when you convert a lead, and this goes across for most popular CRMs out there, it's creating the account, the contact, and the opportunity, or in the case of Zendesk Cell, the deal. So now we're on the deal record. You can always know if you're on the deal record by looking at the top here. You can see deals is highlighted, and you'll see on the right hand side we have no activities here. So because we're in project management mode, but we're gonna have a little fun with this. We're gonna go and turn on sync mode. We're gonna talk a little bit about that. So let's go open up our settings again. And this is the way you'd actually, my bad, we have to click on apps. I'm gonna walk you through the actual setup. We're gonna create a brand new board to manage all this. So let's go in here and we're gonna check off sync mode, but it asks for the board ID. So there's a little bit of admin work, but typically an administrator is gonna set this up anyhow. So we're gonna pop back into Monday.com, and we are gonna go and create a board in our main workspace. So we're gonna go this time and create a board. We're gonna call this the May 26th Demo Sync Board, and we're gonna create it. So we need to grab the ID. And it's really simple. It's actually in the URL at the top. We just grab it up there, we copy it, and then we paste it. And then we hit update. And it's done. So now, let's go back to our deal record. We're gonna hit refresh, and you're gonna notice the widget on the right-hand side has changed. So item empty or not found. So here's a great example of how we would do this. If I'm a sales rep, I'm not gonna touch this until I'm ready to process an order. So we're gonna close that. And from here, I'm just gonna do my normal stuff I would with a prospect. Talk to Jim. He wants 1,000 widgets, quoted and sent. And I save the record. And you're just kind of building out the process, working through here. He's qualified. Maybe he's, we're getting the quote. We've quoted the client something. Likely it's now 20%. You might want to set your expected close date for the end of the month. So you just kind of work through your typical, sales cycle and all that. And then what I would probably do is once, at least if the process is set up like that, is let's say we won the deal. Next step is sending to operations to begin order processing. So before I do that and get into Monday.com, how does that look? We want to use this Monday.com board to actually create some workflows and things. So let's go in here and do an inbox. We're going to call this the work inbox. we're going to take out, and this is a templated, a default board, so we're just going to clear out some stuff here. We'll create a little bit of an example. So what we're going to do is go and encourage the salesperson that, hey, once you close the deal, I want you to go into Zendesk Cell and actually create an item on the board so that our operations team knows they need to do something. So what they do is they click on the 3 dots. They go in here, Gym Electronics, new order. Plus, there you go. Gym Electronics, new order. Now we're in, like I said, sync mode. Sync mode is a little different than project management mode. Like I said, it actually uses one board. So if we were to go to the sync board now, you can see there's the work inbox. Gym Electronics, new order. This is where the fun begins on the operations side. We can start doing automations now. When a new item gets created, we can notify people. We can start creating templates. We can start creating subtasks. We can do a lot of different things. Me as the sales rep, I can come back to this deal anytime, even though it's one, to see where it is in the progress. So maybe I don't get commission until everything's done on the actual order. So I might want to know what the status is. So if I'm sitting there going, status not set, oh, what's going on in the updates? There's no updates. Let's say later in the day, operation person walks in, says, you know what, we're going to assign it to this person, we're going to mark it working on, and we're going to be done this by the 12th. Cool. Sales rep later on in the day pops in. Well, let's take a look at what's going on. Oh, I can see it's been working. It's being worked on. I can see Derek Major's on there. There's a due date on there. So I'm starting to see some information. We can even have a little bit more fun on here. We can go on here and say, received the new order. We have a backlog pushing out the date until June 30th now. Please advise customer as soon as possible. And then maybe you're going to tag someone or whatnot. You can do a lot in there. So we can do an update. Now we'll go back into money.com here, or sorry, in the Zendesk rather. So we come back, we still have all our statuses and all that. And actually, you know, to continue the narrative a bit, let's put that to the 30th. Let's go back here and hit refresh. So first of all, the dates changed. I can go to the updates. I can see the updates. So what we've done here is we've made it really easy for the sales rep to see what's going on in operations just by looking on the right-hand side of the Monday.com integration. So everything else happening inside of here is they're moving this on, you know, maybe it's work in progress. And it's just continuing throughout the actual workflow inside of the operations side. Meanwhile, the sales rep can always see what's going on. So let's talk a little bit more on the Monday.com side where we can get a little more creative here. So let's say this is all done. You know, let's go on there and hit refresh. And now we have, you know, it's marked done. But we can start introducing the automations I was mentioning. So let's go take a look at what we can do. Automation Center. So you want to go with item creation. So we can do a couple things. When the status changes, or actually let's go create. So when an item is created, set due date to creation date plus some days. When a new item is created, notify someone. When a new item is created, set its status to something. So there's lots of neat little automations we can do in here to actually create quite a seamless handoff to the operations team. So let's go take a look at some of the custom stuff. So we're going to do custom. So we're going to say when an item gets created, let's do something. So we have lots of options. We can notify someone. We can create an item. We can duplicate an item, create an item in the board, create an item in the board and connected boards, move an item to the board. There's lots of stuff you can do here, right? So we're not going to get too complicated, but let's say we want to do some sub-items. So let's do our first sub-item. We're going to say confirm order details is the first step. And we'll mark that as, you know, working on it. And then we go and add maybe another sub-item. And let's say it's call customer to update on order info. And maybe we put working on. And I don't know, we can even set a date automatically. set date. I guess we have to actually add a column in here, so let's go add one in. Add the board. And from there, we'll have a date put on there as well. We can even include time. And then finally, let's go notify someone. Or assign. We'll assign someone. We'll assign myself. So now we've created an item, set date to 1, Derek Majors, person. So we create some automation. So we're going to create that automation now. So now we've added that. So this is the first automation we've added on here. Let's go see what that looks like. Let's just go through the 3 dots. We're going to create a brand new one. We're going to call it Gym Electronics New Order number 2. Hit add. And we're going to see some fun happening here now. So there it is. New order came in. Date's been set. It's been assigned. I have sub items already created. We already got the work ready to go. So you can actually build out an entire operations process using automations right inside of Monday.com. And going back to Zendesk Cell, again, if I hit refresh, I can see all the updates after the automations have occurred. All the date, time, and everything is presented here too. And again, all the updates that would occur from any conversations will also appear inside of Zendesk Cell. So it creates a nice little seamless integration and workflow between each other. And there's this test. So yeah, you can kind of go really far with all this too. Like there's tons of things you can do on the integration side. There's at least on the automation side. And really, once you start creating all that, you can really create a very comprehensive setup of coordinating work inside of Monday.com. That's where Monday.com really excels, is on the work management side. I mean, that's why they call it Work OS, is that you can really build supporting business process inside of here, which also leverages things like a CRM, which is purpose-built for the sales team. So really cool stuff. And that's really all we want to cover off on the demo today. So I think from there, I mean, we got just over 5 minutes left here, so maybe I'll open it up to some questions on any of the stuff we covered off today. If you want to talk about Zendesk, we talk about that. Anything on Monday.com, we can do that as well. Okay, let's see here. So Sonia, our marketing manager, is feeding me some of the questions coming in here. So first one, does this app work with the Zendesk support app? So not yet. So this widget here on the right hand side is actually it's in development right now for Zendesk support. So you'll be able to actually incorporate this into Zendesk support, which would be it'll be cool as well, because you'll be able to create use cases around actually say a ticket comes in from a customer on Zendesk support. I mean, right now you can actually integrate that into Zendesk Cell to actually say, hey, here's an opportunity. But if it's a support request, maybe you need a quote on some work that needs to be done. If you're in a software development shop or something, you'll be able to kick that over to Monday.com, much like we just did here. We'd probably use a concept like work inbox again too, saying, work request, someone needs a quote, and then they could communicate that way too. So yeah. Next question, what are some other features we can expect in future updates? So there's quite a bit of work going on with this. Right now, it is really only a one-way sync, like you can't update or make comments on here. We are looking at allowing the sales rep to actually do some edits and to be able to create comments directly from in here. So that's coming. We're also looking at being able to transpose information from the record automatically into the Monday.com widget. So that way, information we've captured on this record, so if I click on edit, a lot of this detail, like the company, the deal name, the value of the deal, stage, and all that stuff, estimated close date, all of that will be carried over automatically into the widget. So those are a couple things that are coming along. I mean, certainly if anyone has any feedback or even ideas that they'd like to see, they think they could take that integration a little bit further, we're happy to hear that and incorporate that into our roadmap. All right, anything else? Okay, we have one last one. can you help me customize a workflow on Monday.com for my team specific needs? Yeah, definitely. Through our consulting services, we can do that. I'm assuming you're talking about automations and stuff, but yeah, I think don't just jump in and start creating stuff. Create a plan, put some process maps together. Our team can help you do that as far as creating these integrations, these automations, and all that too. So you can get really in depth on this, and you really can add a lot of efficiency in here. So, but yeah, we can certainly help you guys out with that if you have any questions on that. And I think that is the last question. So, yeah, we have a couple minutes left, but we'll turn off now. And again, just to recap, today we just did a Monday.com integration with Zendesk Cell. Great way to integrate CRM and work in project management. A couple weeks from now, we're doing e-digital signatures, and there's other ones coming up as well. Check out eligeo.com, eligeo.com, and you can see a list of events that we have going on there. Otherwise, I appreciate your time this morning, and I hope you have a good rest of your day.